Hello and welcome back to the Power of PD YouTube channel. I am Erica Harrell. I am so excited to have you here this week to chat all about how to center students in your professional development. So we're educators. We deliver professional development to other educators, whether or not they are teachers or they are school leaders directly in the school, or maybe even you're delivering professional development to leaders who are outside of the school at a district level. No matter who the educator is, we all know we all the time are always trying to center our decisions around what is best for students. And that does not change when you're delivering PD. This is a fantastic time to bring students into your professional development, whether that be literally bring them in or bring them in another way. And so I want to share a few ways for you to think about how can you center students during your PD. Okay, so the first way that you can center students during professional development is to bring in their data. This is probably the most often used way to bring in students is by looking at their data. Their data represents a certain aspect of them. It definitely does not represent all of who they are, but it represents a certain aspect. And oftentimes you can find data that directly aligns to the work that you're doing with your educators during your professional development. So you might choose academic data, especially if the PD that you're delivering is around academics. You could bring in their test scores. You could bring in their exit slip scores. You could bring in their rubric scores, especially if you're doing something like a writing professional development. You want folks to bring their students' data in as a way to center students in the professional development. Those pieces of data become the focal point that you're driving towards an outcome. In addition to academic data, if you are doing professional development on a non-academic topic, you could still bring in student data. So you might bring in attendance data, you might bring in discipline data, you could bring in engagement data. So this doesn't have to just be data that can be found through numbers. It could also be data that's found through observation. So one way in which you could look at engagement is every minute or so in a classroom, you are counting the number of students who are actively doing their task at hand, whatever that might be. And if you do that over the course of 10 minutes, you can find an average engagement score. So you can make that more observational data into something that is more quantitative if you need the numbers to go with it. But you could also just bring in the observation data as well and some of your observation notes, or maybe even teachers bring in their observational notes from what they see happening in their classroom. So bring in student data. That is a great way to center them during your professional development. You bring that data out right at the beginning, you talk through it, you use it to plan, to grow, and that keeps the purpose of the work right in front of you the entire time. Okay, the second thing you can do to center students during your professional development is bring their work to the PD. This is probably one of my favorite ways to center students, because you're like literally holding something that they have written or drawn or touched, and they've actually produced from their brain. And so I love to have actual pieces of their work in PD. There's many ways you could use this work. You can use it as exemplars. You can use it to show a certain gap in student learning and understanding and figure out how you're going to fill that. You could use it to push your thinking or push the thinking of colleagues, because they might have been at one bar and then this student, pushed it to a higher bar. So there's many ways in which you can use student work, but actually bring the physical pieces of their work to the PD. There's nothing, in my opinion, more exciting about actually having what children have worked on. And a lot of times, especially if you're working with administration who aren't in the classroom every single day, this just gets them right back to being with children and remembering why we do what we do. And so this work can be exactly what they've worked on and what your professional development is related to. So if you are doing a math professional development, ask the teachers to bring their latest math work on a specific standard. If you are supporting art educators, ask them to bring a sample of their students' artwork to display during the PD. So really depends on what your topic is, but there's many ways in which you can have student work be brought into the PD. Okay, the next way you can center students during your professional development is watch video. We are oftentimes bringing video to professional development, but most of the time this video is of the teacher. And I'm suggesting if you are focusing on centering students during your professional development, bring a video that shows students. What are they doing? It shows their voice. It shows their actions. You might even get to see them discuss with each other the topic at hand. So walk through the building, capture some video of students. If you are a consultant and you aren't in this building yet, ask whoever your point of contact is, whether that be the school leader or an instructional coach, ask them to capture a few video of children during different times, ensuring them that you'll only use that video during their professional development with their staff. They don't even have to completely give you, ownership of it. You can just pull it up during the PD. So using video of students, not just of teachers, can allow people to take a step back and watch their students from a different lens when they're not in that moment with them, when it might feel one way because they're in the moment. This is like a pause, just watch and reflect, being kind of another set of eyes from a different perspective. So it's a great opportunity for educators to take a step back, see the students in action. Is an awesome way to keep them at the forefront of your PD. Okay, the last way to bring students into your professional development, the last way I'll share today, is through interviews. You could use the video suggestion that I just said and record an interview with students, asking them questions about whatever your topic is. If you are presenting on school culture and climate, you might ask them specific questions about what's great about their school, where would they like to see improvement in terms of the culture and climate. And so this is an awesome way to center their voice and center the work that their teachers, their school leaders, the educators that are with them every single day will do because of what they're saying. So you could videotape the interview. You might also just conduct the interview and take notes and share with the staff common themes, and maybe it's not individual responses. But interviewing students is a fantastic way to center what they're doing. You could do interviews and just put quotes all over the space. When they walk into your PD, they're walking into quotes about what children are saying about their school, about their teachers, about whatever subject it is that you are facilitating a professional development around. So there's many different ways you could use the interview to center their voice, but this is a fantastic way, no matter how you use it, to pull everyone back to the fact that we are here for students and here's what they have to say. Okay, so really quickly shared with you 4 ways to center students during your professional development. Once again, that was to bring in student data, to bring in student work, also to interview students, or to watch video centered on them. So great ways to bring in students into your PD so that we don't forget why we do this work and what the goal is at the end of the day. Thank you so much for listening and engaging in this video. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments. Please feel free to tag me over at Erica Harrell Consulting on Instagram as you watch this with any reflections, ahas, questions. I'd love to connect there. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications so that anytime I post a new video, you get notified. Until the next video, don't forget to embrace the power of PD. I'll see you next time.